This was the office chair I was using, and although it's a nice chair, it really wasn't up to scratch for longer sitting periods. So I started searching online for a replacement chair. I quickly narrowed it down to a company called AK Racing, who have lots of different styles and colours to choose from on their website. I decided on the AK Nitro Green, mainly because I liked the colour and the price was in the range I budgeted for.
Here's a little tip that may save you some money. At the AK Racing website payment page, there was an option to redeem a coupon code for a further discount. So I googled AK Racing discount code, and sure enough, on their Facebook page, they had an offer for an extra 10% off. Okay, let's unbox this bad boy and put it together. The box is quite heavy at 25 kilos, so it was unboxed on the floor. Right on top was a weighty metal wheel mount, nicely protected with bubble wrap. It's nice and shiny too, and a bit like a bowerbird, I'm attracted to shiny objects. Finally free of the bubble wrap, it looks like a big metallic starfish. Lifting up the seat back revealed the lime green colour that had caught my eye on their website, so I was happy with that, and it looked just as good in real life. Next was a seat base, which felt very sturdy. I did have a small moment of concern, as one of the connector arms was movable and the other wasn't. Later in the video, you'll understand why this is so. Then came the headrest and lumbar support, and I was pleased at the good size of the lumbar support. Next was the box with all the bits to put the chair together, and in there was a little plastic bag with the Allen keys and screws and what looked like a white cloth for cleaning the shiny metal base. It later turned out to be something completely different. And finally, the instructions, which recommended putting everything together on a tabletop. Tearing open the completely sealed plastic wrapping released a nice smell of brand newness, kind of like a new car smell. I wonder how long I can make that last. It turns out that this upright is meant to be that way. The other one is locked into place by the chair tilt mechanism. The base itself felt very solid and heavy, and the armrests looked a good size. A nice little quality touch was revealed when opening the plastic bag which contained the Allen keys and screws. The mysterious white cloth turned out to be cloth gloves, which I guess you can use to keep the chair free from fingerprints while you're assembling it. I was a bit surprised to see only 3 screws along with the 2 different sized Allen keys, but it turns out that they had all the other screws already in place on the various parts of the chair, which does make sense, as it ensures that you do put the correct screws in the right holes during assembly. Okay, time for assembly to begin. Out of the plastic, the chair back smelt great and looked very well constructed. There also appears to be a zipper running along 3/4 of the back edge, but I couldn't see how it would open or even why it's there. The first part of the instructions says, make sure you clean the screw holes and get rid of padding or fabric that might be in the way. This is an important step if you want easy seating and biting of the screws when you're trying to get them into the holes later. I was a bit apprehensive about getting in there and doing that with my craft knife in case I damaged the chair material, and a part of me thinks this should have been done at the factory where they probably have the correct tool to do this. Next, the instructions say to pre-screw the screws into the holes to ensure the holes are clean and ready. This of course assumes that you've managed to clear the padding or fabric from the area of the hole. Here I removed the first 4 screws that were already in place. With the seat back and seat base in position, I loosely screwed in the previously removed screws to make sure I still had enough movement to line everything up. The third screw was a bit tricky, and as you can see, the angle was not quite right, but a little lift of the seat back fixed that, and the 4th screw went in okay. With all 4 screws lined up and seated nicely, I fully tightened all the screws. Next, it was time to mount the plastic covers. From the instructions, it was unclear at first how the plastic covers were mounted, but they simply sit directly over the metal hinge area and are held in place with one of the 3 black screws that came in the plastic bag. Getting the screw to line up and bite was slightly tricky, and eyeballing was the only way to make it happen. Take care not to tighten the screw too much that it distorts the shape of the plastic. Also, the plastic isn't contoured to the seat, which does cause it to bite into the chair material, so over-tightening the screw could cause it to rip the material. Overall, I felt that although adequate for the job, the plastic covers were cheap and flimsy for an expensive chair that was otherwise solid and well built. I had trouble getting the final piece of plastic attached because the hole was covered over by chair material. It just felt wrong to be using a craft knife on the new chair. Eventually the screw found its bite, and again I was concerned about over-tightening because the plastic was causing the material to distort. Following the instructions, I turned the chair over and saw the 4 screws to remove to attach the metal base. There's no doubt as to which way this bit goes on because it has embossed into it a big arrow and the word front. The instructions are pretty clear about this too. When removing the 4 screws from underneath the chair, the instructions say to cup your hand underneath to prevent parts from falling into the chair padding. I did this for the first 2 screws and nothing fell. So, feeling confident, I decided not to cup my hand for the 3rd and 4th screws. And of course, the washers fell into the chair padding on the 4th one. Luckily, they were easy to locate and recover. After lining up the metal base, I finger tightened the 4 screws. There is a small amount of play with the base in place, so I decided to work with gravity and not against it, and then fully tightened the screws. Next, it was time to insert the wheels into the big metallic starfish. Over the years, with other office chairs, I've noticed that some wheels are not up to the task they're designed for. However, these wheels felt quite sturdy and solid, and I guess it's because it's a racing chair, they've been designed to look like plastic versions of alloy wheels that you see on some cars. With only the gas lift and telescopic sleeve to complete the main assembly of the chair, I was on the home stretch. The telescopic sleeve is a bit like a Russian doll, with smaller pieces fitting inside the next bigger piece. Hold it one way and they come to a stop point. Hold it the other way and they come apart. Insert the narrow end of the gas lift into the wide end of the telescopic sleeve until it pops out of the top. Then push the narrow end of the gas lift into the bottom of the chair. Finally, line up the big metallic starfish with the lower part of the gas lift. Nothing clicks into place here. It all just relies on gravity to keep everything together once the chair is on the floor. Take care lifting the completely assembled chair off the table as it's extremely heavy. To complete the picture, it was time to put the headrest and lumbar support in place. There are no instructions for this, so it requires a bit of thought. The headrest has a fixed elasticized band, so there's really only one way it can go on. Included in the wrapping is a plastic thing which attaches to the headrest elasticized band. The lumbar support, like the rest of the chair, has a nice finish and feels firm but gentle. It has 2 straps, each with a quick release buckle. The bottom part of the straps pass between the chair seat and the chair back. The top part of the straps pass through the holes at the top of the chair, and both straps pass through the plastic thing. This is so the lumbar support and the headrest apply tension to each other to stop them moving around. In summary, the chair looks fantastic and it feels well made and solid. There are some plastic bits that feel just too plasticky and flimsy, but I guess they do the job, and they are, after all, just cosmetic. I bought this chair in February 2016, and on the AK Racing website, the RRP was 389 Australian dollars, with a special price reduction to $359. And then when I applied the discount code I found at their Facebook page, the final price I paid was $323.10. Shipping was also free within Australia. Relevant links are down below, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and remember, there's no need for my full name, just call me Q.